It is my absolute pleasure to be joined today by author Charles Carr. He is the author of the newly released book, Sally's Dress. And so, Charles, tell us about this book.
All right, so the book is written for preteens, anywhere from like, 4 to 5 years old, because they have understanding at that age, maybe up to 10, 11, maybe even 12. And it's a story about the unfairness of socialism, to put it bluntly. But it's written in a way that when you read this to your preteen, whether you're an aunt, an uncle, a grand, whatever you are, when you're done with the story, and it's a 26-minute read, it's not a, it's not going to take you a couple of hours. 26 pages, big print, pictures, illustrations to keep the child, engaged. When you finish reading the story, they're going to turn around to you knowing that the little girl in this book, Sally, who was just looking to buy a dress, how unfairly she was treated by government because they took half of her lemonade money that she worked all day for in the hot sun. And now she wasn't able to buy the dress. So they're going to turn around and they're going to initiate the conversation. Grandpa, what is social? Like, what is that? So I never heard of socialism before, because you're not certainly going to sit down with your child and just start talking about socialism. But when they read the book, they're going to ask you. And now that's your opportunity to educate them, steer them in the right direction before academia in this country gets a hold of them and kind of, what's coming out of our universities today? You don't want your grandchild or your daughter or any relative to come out the way some of these kids are coming out. And that's the purpose of writing the book.
So, what was the inspiration for this? I mean, obviously, we've talked about it a little bit already, but what was the main point of inspiration for you where you were like, I'm going to write this book?
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, over the years, I mean, my political affiliation now. So over the years, I started seeing more and more, these kids coming out of college, especially, they're walking around with banners, red banner, which means that's the Soviet Union color, democratic socialism, capitalism, down with capitalism, or even worse, capitalism, the S word. Um, and I realized, wow, and this happened over a 30-year period. It didn't happen overnight. This has been happening probably as way back as the late 50s and 60s. Nikita Khrushchev, and I know most of the kids in college, they don't even know who that is. That was the leader of the Soviet Union, visited this country in the early 60s and basically said to the American people at the United Nations, we can't expect the American people to jump from capitalism to communism, but we can give them small doses of socialism and they will eventually wake up one day to find it's a communist country. Now, he said that in the early 60s. And look where we are today. These kids all come out of college thinking capitalism is evil and it sucks and it's unfair. And they think socialism is great. So that was my inspiration for trying to say we can't save those kids. The 20-year-old with those metal plugs all over their face and the tattoos and the blue hair. We can't save them. But I'm going to try to, moving forward, use my writing ability to try to save the next generation from going that way, so that when they enter and the professors start telling them, they already know, hey, that's not true. My grandfather or my dad told me that capitalism is the way to go. So that was basically my inspiration. I'm just trying to save the next generation.
I think that's incredible. And is there anything else you'd like to share with us today about you, your book, or the message within the book?
Yeah, actually, so the book ends with Sally's parents. They sell the house in the town they're living in because it fell under the socialist, and they sell the house. They're moving to a different part of the country. This is how the book ends. And Sally's, leaving the town. She looks around and she says, "Thank God I'm out of here," kind of. And I'm already halfway through the next version of Sally's life, where she's now in the new town for a couple of years. The book starts now. She's not 8 years old anymore. She's 12. And she's a teen, she's going into high school, she's a teenager, she's on the swim team, she has a whole bunch of friends, she meets a boy, she has a boyfriend, and I don't want to get too much into it, but the second book is for teenagers and adults because the ramifications of socialism's effect on Sally's life as a teenager are much more detrimental than they took her dress money when she was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And so the next version of I think I'm going to call it Sally's Fate, should be coming out around this time next year. I think that's the time frame. And I'm working on it, and it's going to be a lot more interesting and really expose the evil of just what socialism does to a society, a family, a neighborhood. So that's all, that's what else I have to say.
Well, I think this is incredible. I think everyone should pick up this book by Charles Carr, Sally's Dress. It's available everywhere online books are sold, on Amazon, Reader House, online at Barnes and Noble, Apple Books, all of the places. We recommend everyone pick this up. And Charles, you've been an absolute delight to talk to today. And thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Stacy, it was my pleasure to be here. Thank you.